Welcome back, everybody. Rob from Revelation Rain, and this is the last in this little series I've been doing about how I met, or how we met, and came across the various people that played in Revelation Rain. All right, so go back and watch the previous videos. It'll make more sense when you watch this one. As I mentioned, JT, for personal reasons, had to leave the band. He had to move to Oklahoma, so he could no longer be in Revelation Rain, but he gave us his blessings to find a new lead guitarist and continue to move forward. So that's what we did. We started looking for lead guitarists. We must have auditioned at least 4 or 5 people, and none of them were working out. And we were pretty discouraged because, Grant and I were extremely blessed. We were blessed in that when we decided to put Revelation Rain together, on the first audition, we got JT. On the first audition, we got Marty. And it wasn't turning out like that this time. And it made us question, maybe the band's time is up. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's time to let it go. And for a while there, we did. We stopped auditioning people and we just kind of went our separate ways. And so the band was on hiatus for a few months, if I remember correctly. But every now and again, I would go on to Bandmix, that was our rabbit's foot, as Grant would say, and look for lead guitarists. And eventually I came across a guy named Tyler. Now, Tyler had some music up on his Bandmix profile, and it was really good, really good. So I reached out to him and asked him if he'd like to audition for the band. We chatted a little bit, and he said, yeah, let's do it. I said, all right, I'm going to send you 3 original tunes. Learn those, and then we'll have something to rehearse this coming Friday or Saturday, whatever day it was going to be. And we had decided that we were going to do this rehearsal not at our usual rehearsal spot, which was at Grant's house, but instead at Soundfield Studio, where we had recorded our 2 CDs. Because we wanted Pete Bass, our producer, to be there. Because we knew that we were getting desperate. We wanted to find a lead guitarist, and I had the feeling that if it didn't work out this time, then the band truly was going to be done. The band would truly be over. Because I think everyone was just kind of getting impatient with the whole thing. But we didn't want to take someone on just to save the band, or have somebody that was just mediocre or whatever. So we wanted that outside opinion, and that was what we had Pete there for, and why we went to Pete at his studio. Anyway, I sent those songs to Tyler. Well, then he emails me back. And what he had done, this was phenomenal. This is before the audition, mind you. He had taken Taste of Tomorrow, our studio version of that track, deconstructed it, re-recorded it with him on lead guitar, put it all back together, and sent it back to me. So it sounded like we had gone into the studio and recorded that song with him. And I was like, this shows a level of commitment. This shows a level of tech savvy. This is really cool. I sent it to Marty and to Grant, and they're like, holy mackerel, this could be the guy. So now we're starting to get excited about this audition, and we're really hoping that it's going to work out. So we get to Soundfield Studio, we set everything up, we go into the first song, and it's gangbusters. It was awesome. Now, Tyler does not play exactly like JT, nor should he. I mean, that wasn't expected, but we needed that style, and he fit that style, but it was slightly different than what JT was doing. So it brought a slightly different sound to the band, but not outside of the wheelhouse of the band. And he was stepping into some really big shoes. JT left a great big void in Revelation Rain, and Tyler was able to come in. He could play exceptionally well. He could write songs. That was a plus. There were 2 things that were kind of working against him. Firstly, why would I go secondly? Firstly, he didn't want to sing. He did not want to sing lead. He was very, very hesitant to even do backing vocals. And all throughout his tenure in the band, if you watch, he's got a mic in front of him, but I don't think he's using it. Every now and again, he'd actually step up to it, but I don't know if he was actually singing anything. And so the backing vocals suffered immensely when JT left the band. I ended up buying a vocal effects pedal that Marty would use, so that when he would sing backing vocals, it would sound like there were 2 or 3 people singing with him. Because we didn't have that anymore. We didn't have JT on backing vocals, and Tyler just wasn't comfortable with it. And with that being said, I doubt that he would have ever have done any lead vocals, but maybe he would have gotten to that point. But outside of that, he was excellent with merchandise, tech savvy, awesome guitar player, great writer. We said, yeah, this is the guy. This is the guy. Now, the second thing that I was going to mention that was kind of working against him was image. Yeah, it was kind of like he looked like he could have been a cast member on Happy Days. I don't mean that as an insult. It's just, yeah, and he even said himself, yeah, I'm the geeky dad, But we had to get him brought up to speed. He couldn't go on stage looking like, Ron Bosley or Popsy or whatever. It's just that was Tom Bosley. What did I get? Ron. Anyway, the guy on Happy Days, Mr. Cunningham. But yeah, we couldn't have that. So we were able to get him up to speed somewhat on image. Not as much as I would have liked, but better than when we first found him. But despite that, like I said, he stepped it up in that area. I believe he would chime in sometimes on backing vocals. It wasn't as prominent as it should have been. But despite those 2 things, he was an excellent guitar player, great personality, fit in with the band immediately, great sense of humor, very intelligent, well-spoken, could write, and yeah, we did a lot of good stuff. We never recorded that 3rd album that we wanted to do, and had we done it, it would have been with Tyler. We never got to that point, but we did play some live shows with Tyler. You can find those on the YouTube channel. Yeah, just great. Now, he wasn't much as far as a performer either, so I don't think he ever strayed from his. It was kind of like the Malcolm Young and the bass player of AC/DC, I don't remember his name, that had their 3-foot square space on stage, while the lead singer and Angus were all over. That was kind of like Tyler. He had his little box, and he rarely ever strayed from it, but that's all right. Marty and I made up for it, but yeah. Unfortunately, what happened was I came across this huge opportunity to do this Battle of the Bands. It was going to be in Kentucky, I believe, and there were going to be record execs there, and they were looking for bands to sign. And the tail end of it also was that it was not only this Battle of the Bands, and you might get a record deal, but there's also this tour that would take us through the South. It was going to be like a week or 2 long, and we were really excited about it. I came across it, talked to the guy, worked out all the details, called Grant, he's on, called Marty, he's on. We go to Tyler, he can't do it. He had a vacation already planned, and there was no way that he could do it. And we had a tough decision to make, meaning Grant, Marty, and myself. Do we just cancel out because our lead guitarist can't be there? Or do we find someone else to fill in and hope that we still get the record deal? But we'll tell the person right up front, whoever fills in, you're helping us to get a record deal, but you won't get to share in it. You get to play at the Battle of the Bands, you get to go on a small tour, you'll make some money, but Tyler's our lead guitarist. He's going to be the guy that will step in. And we had to find someone that would be okay with that. Well, we looked all over, couldn't find anyone. We mentioned it to Tyler. We said, Tyler, are you okay with this? We're thinking that we want to still do this. We want to bring someone in, do the show. If we get the deal, you're still the guy. He said, yeah, that's okay. That's fine. I don't want to stand in the way. So we started looking for someone, and as soon as Marty and I got off the phone, we talked to Tyler about it. Within 10 minutes, he sent us a text saying that he was quitting the band. So obviously it did bother him. But whatever. So now we're in a position where we don't have a lead guitarist. So we said, well, all right, then in a way, I guess maybe it makes it a little more enticing for the person we find, because now they'll get to stay in the band and enjoy the record deal if we get it. Well, we had a hard time finding anyone. I think Grant reached out to JT, and JT said that he would do it. And we were like, oh, this is awesome, because JT had moved back to Michigan by this point. This would be great. The original lineup, we got JT back. We'll go and do this this showcase, this Battle of the Bands, and then do this tour. Life is good. And I think it was about 2 or 3 days before we were going to do the event, and JT backed out for one reason or another. I don't remember why. So we never got to do it. We didn't get to do it, and so the three of us had a decision. What do we do? Well, we decided that the three of us would continue as a three-piece until we could find a lead guitarist, because we had a couple of shows still booked. And I was not happy with that situation at all. I was not happy with being a three-piece. I didn't think we should go out and do the show without a lead guitarist. And there were some other issues as well, but those have been resolved, so I'm not going to bring them up. But between band members, there were some issues, and I made a poor decision. We had a show in Muskegon. I got there, and just had a disagreement with Grant and a slight one with Marty, and I walked out, which was not professional at all to walk out on a show, but I did, and I regret that. But once Tyler had left the band and it was just a three-piece, it just kind of took all the joy out of it for me. And there were some other issues, like I said, that were going on in the band that was really making it hard for me to enjoy being there. I didn't handle it the right way. I should have handled it differently, but that was what happened, and that effectively ended the band. That's what ended Revelation Reign. Now, maybe I'll do a follow-up video about what happened after that. Yeah, it'd be interesting. All right, so anyway, guys, that's Tyler. How we met him, how he came in, what he brought to the band, and how the band eventually ended. You guys take care, and God bless.